Hello, Gary David Currie here once again. I am out in the great outdoors. Sunday, around 2. Today I went out looking for a waterfall down an old logging road. Didn't find it. They told me around a certain marker and look for the pink ribbon. Well, tons of pink ribbons. Couldn't find the waterfall. Anyway, excuse me. Anyways, lots of nice spots along the way. My time's running out. Sun's going down. It's time of year it is. So I just chose this spot, which is actually, there's a bridge right here going over a creek, which you're probably hearing in the background. And if you look down here, you can see that this is just part of the logging road. It actually goes up. It's pretty steep. There were some spots along here when I went up that way where, you know, I was pretty scared. No guardrails, nothing to prevent me from falling over. One wrong move and long way down. Anyways, today I would like to talk about something that's very important. Well, it's all important, I guess. That kind of fitting in with everything else I've been doing all along. It's kind of a series. I didn't really plan it that way, but it's, you know, it's looking that way. And as you know, I'm all about truth. That's what I'm trying to talk about, and again, trying to define that with everybody's seems to be the impossible task here. But today I want to just throw out something and kind of put out where people are at, in my view. This is all in my view. And I can be wrong in anything, and I'm not saying anything is an absolute. This is how I see things. And I look at myself as a messenger. I try and understand the universe, the world around me, how life works as best I can, and then I go from there. And I put it out, and anybody who wants to listen, great, and anybody who doesn't, that's fine too. Okay, I've been doing this a long time, you know, since the internet's been around, and Facebook and all these social networking sites has afforded me the opportunity to get it out even more. But I'm still going to say what I'm going to say, and have been most of my life since I was very, very young. Why I do this? Well, I really don't know. It's just passionate with me, and it's something if I don't do, I'm always drawn back to do. I'm always drawn back to champion what I see as what is right in the world and what is true. And it has been very costly at times. Recently, in discussing things on Facebook, I've run into a huge reaction from people where they're pretty much just running away, ignoring me, not wanting to hear anything I say, which is fine. You know, that's all part of the process. But I look at it like this. It's like I've walked into a kindergarten class, and let's say all these kids believe in this one particular thing, and I've told them that it's not true. What I've told them is that Santa Claus is just not real. There's a truck coming over here, so you're gonna have to bear with me for a minute. It's gonna be a bit of noise. Thank you. Just part of videotaping things in the outdoors. So I've told everybody in this class that Santa Claus is probably not real. You know, I'm going to get a varied amount of reactions. Crying. People are going to be incredibly upset. Some might go, oh, okay, I didn't think it was real anyways. To completely just ignoring me. Like what I said didn't even register with them, and they're going to keep on going in what they believe. And, you know, that's the way it is when I deal with what I deal with. I put things out there, and if it challenges your worldview, your bubble you're in, and we're all in some sort of bubble, you're going to have a reaction, and how you react to it is going to be based on where you are at in your life. And I get this everywhere, pretty much, when I'm talking to people. And what this is this. It's the process of grief. And how that works is bargaining, denial, anger, depression, and then acceptance. With the exception of acceptance, a lot of people are going to bounce back and forth between all these things. And we associate this process with, say, a death, a breakup of a relationship, but it's actually applied to pretty much everything we do. Often it goes by very quickly. So what I see is many people getting stuck and not willing to step out of these certain areas that they're in. Another car. Actually trucks. There are trucks everywhere up here. So they're not willing to step out of one or two of these points. The bargaining usually happens fairly quickly, and then it subsides. And generally people are stuck in the mode of denial. They just going to say, hey, whatever you just told me just is not true. I don't accept it. I don't believe you. Simple as that. That doesn't negate the fact that what they've just heard is probably the truth. It just says, I don't care. I'm going to go on in my fantasy and in my delusion and my unacceptance of what it is I've just witnessed or heard. The problem is that once something is known, it can't be unknown. So what you're going to do from this point on is try and escape. And we see that everywhere. From the many addictions that people get involved in, to just how they deal with people and life. For example, if I say something on Facebook, I tell you, hey, you know, what you believe is probably not true. Spirituality's been the one. I'm going to get several reactions based on where they are at. They might be curious and want to discuss things with me, and, you know, we leave on a friendly basis. Or they knee-jerk and get incredibly angry, which means they're probably not too sure of what it is they believe in. They're heavily into denial, but they're moving between anger and a bit of depression. You know, that's their choice, but based on how a person reacts is where I can kind of tell where they are at, and they should be able to tell where they're at. You can't fight the truth. You can try all you want to, but if you're denying it, it's going to be based on your fears. And this is what we see over and over. A lot of people don't ever escape denial, and then they're stuck in that area of depression and anger. And this continues on through their entire life. And then when you involve drugs of some sort, whatever it may be, you know, from a shopping addiction to a heroin addiction to just the way you treat people, you know, it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. Because those fears aren't going anywhere, you know, because they're in your head. So you're going to have to face them sooner or later. Unfortunately for most people, they don't face them until they hit bottom. Until the drug has worn out in one form or another. Look around the world. You can see this play out over and over and over again. From religion, again, to relationships, to our politics, to pretty much everything we do. And all I'm trying to do is just put out, hey, you know, this is what probably is happening. I might be shaking a little bit here because it's freezing out here and my hands are cold. So let me just simplify this. For example, I'm bald. It's by choice. I was going bald. I had male pattern baldness. You know, it started when I was around 32, and it got worse and worse, and, you know, and then I decided, you know, I can deny this all I want, but it's happening, so why don't I just embrace it? So I decided, what's the best look for me? What can I possibly do about this to work with it? I faced the facts on it. So I just started shaving my head, and I say, hey, this look works for me. I'm rocking this bald look, in my opinion anyways, so I'm just going to embrace it and go with it. You know, then I put a beard into it, and there we go, that's the way it is. I didn't deny it, I accept it. When it comes to all the things that we profess as true, that we just don't know are true, such as religion, spirituality, I don't know, Bigfoot, that marriages are going to be wonderful and great, and that everything in life is going to be hunky-dory. you know, it's just not reality. Sure, I'd like things to be great too. I'd like everybody to get along and have world peace and love everywhere, but it's just not going to happen. We need to start stepping out of denial as a species. You know, let me take the drug trade for example. You know, eventually the end result is you have a user. People who want to escape whatever their problem is that they're trying to run from. And that's basically all people do when they deny, is run. My hands are freezing here, so I got to put them in my pocket. We run and run and run and run. But it doesn't matter, that's going to catch up with you eventually. So face it. So back to the drug thing. So we have the end user, and we can follow this chain all the way up to the people who produce the drugs. So basically, because people are denying something in their life, and they want to escape it, we've created this massive, what I think is a mess out of it. When if people just decided to accept reality, again on reality's terms, you know, we might not have to deal with all these crazy things that result from denial. It's all from denial. It boggles my mind because I can see it everywhere. Relationships, huge denial factors in there, which lead to breakups, which leads to dysfunctional families, abandonment, and all these things that just don't have to happen. Denial leads to wars, to violence, to people hurting each other. Again, doesn't have to happen. We can prevent all this. So I'm going to talk about this grieving process, and I'm going to continue to challenge people's bubbles, whether they like it or not. Let me backtrack a bit here and tell you, you don't have to read what I write, you don't have to listen, you don't have to listen to my music, you don't have to do any of that. But if you do, that means you're seeking a little bit, you're trying to understand, you're curious. So embrace what I say to not agree, you don't have to agree, but I would suggest that you at least try and understand. You know, I'm not the only one saying these kinds of things. There's plenty of people do it. We've had some great philosophers, great people in the world, from Martin Luther King to Gandhi to musicians who are just putting themselves out there, hoping that you see something, and, you know, kind of professing a better world, truth, and what we're all looking for to become a better species so that we can move on. Yeah, I know I'm rambling today, ranting. Like I said, I'm a little cold. Brain might not be working quite the way I want it to. So in closing, don't deny what is probably true. Really look at it. Yeah, I go by kind of what my senses are and what I call, and what other people call, objective truth and not subjective truth. And even though my experiences are going to be what my life are, part of that experience is I can look outside and use the method of science to discover what is probably true. And so many things we believe probably are not true. So my question is this: why would you want to believe something that's not true? If you're married and your spouse was cheating on you, would you want to know the truth, or would you want to carry on in the delusion that that they're not doing it? I'm sure you'd want to know the truth. So why would you not want to know the truth on everything you possibly could? I do. That's why I maintain, seek the truth always and do no harm. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for listening to what I have to offer. Hope it helped you in some way. You can reach me on Facebook under Gary David Currie. I got lots of videos out. I'm a musician, artist. I have a blog at www.thefreeman.net under journal. You know, I just want a better world. I care. And I just want to talk about things. But, you know, I don't want to fight with people. But unfortunately, I end up having to meet people where they're at. And a lot of the times, they're angry. They're angry. And so we have to get that out of the way. We have to face that conflict. How you see me is up to you. how I portray myself will be up to me. One other thing. A lot of people are trying to tell me what it is I should do, how I need to behave, and it will work better. You know, you'll get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Look, as with the kindergarten class, it doesn't matter how I say it. You know, eventually the sales pitch has to be over and you gotta say it. So I just say it. You guys have a great day.